Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very warm welcome from Italy here on the SimGrid. It's more female racers returning for round number 3 of season 4, if you can believe it. David Christie alongside Laura Luft as always. Good evening, Laura. Welcome back. Italy again, and this time we are at Imola. Should be a very interesting race tonight.
Definitely, and ciao ragazzi, benvenuti all'Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, Imola, traditional raceway, crazy as it can be, and I think everybody likes Italy. That's what we can tell for sure regarding the race action we see on track.
Laura, why you gotta do me like that? What with the multilingual and the bienvenue and the ciao tutti and the I really need to learn another language. But 3 miles around here for the Grand Prix circuit, a very, very famous, almost infamous circuit, plays course to the third round of 6 races here for more female racers. And it's been an awesome season so far. A GTWR RHG female racing in the number 1 machine out in front with that 50 points in the Pro Championship. But what do we think we're going to see tonight, Laura?
I mean, Elu Gobi is really, really strong in racing, and Sarah Doff as well as like Mia Svensson. And we see here these standings where we see, of course, the GTWR 8. RHG female racing, I will never learn it. Team is obviously leading in the pro class, and then we have Gripax Engineering, the number 12 car, and on the third place RHG Esports. These are the top 3 in the pro category, and the others we will look in a second. So I guess that today we also have these kind of ladies quite up in the top, and when we just look at the different new joiners we also have, this will be very, very interesting when we just look at the pro-ams. Luna Nera is the team leading here in before Turn 1 Racing, and also Strix Racing in the third place in this pro-am category. And for those who are joining newly, we also will then start again with the 4 different classes. The silver one is led by GTWR RHG female racing number 2 team for Turn 1, of course, and then the 4th and 5th team is again in the third place with the car number 87. So these are really, really strong drivers in those teams, and the M category is always pretty strong, and we have some new joiners tonight, David.
We certainly do. Just interestingly, before we throw to the hot lap, Pro-Am, Silver and the Am classes, all of the top drivers and all of the top teams have both won the opening rounds at Monza and Spa. We have not seen that so far in the previous seasons. But let's get a further look at Imola with our hot lap from Jenny Camugli.
Hello everyone, this is Jenny, car 104 for a lap guide at Imola. Here we cross the start-finish line. On the right side here you have the pit exit, so take care not to cross paths with another car. Stay right for the first turn, brake hard down to 2nd gear, avoid the yellow bars on the curves, full throttle for the exit. Once again avoid the yellow bars, and you can use the curb for the exit. Stay right, then tap on the brake here, and full brakes here. Avoid the yellow bars on the curbs. You can use the curb on the exit. Brake down to 1st gear here. Gently accelerate out of the corner. Try not to spin here. You can use a bit of the exit curb. Move towards the left and move back to the right here to get a good entry. Brake hard down to 3rd gear, maybe 2nd gear if you can. Avoid exiting too large here and stick to the left. Slight tap on the brake, then full brake down to 2nd gear. Avoid the yellow parts on the curbs. Don't be too wide here. Go back to the left for next turn, which is the chicane. Brake hard down to 2nd, then 1st gear. Keep as much speed as you can without exiting too large. Move toward the left side for next turn, in which you need to exit to the right, and as soon as you finish exiting, brake hard down to 2nd gear, accelerate between the 2 turns, slight tap on the brake, accelerate again, and here we are. The pit entry is on the right, and you're on the final straight for this lap at Imola. Enjoy the race as we cross the start-finish line.
It's special guest time here again on the build up to More Female Racers Season 4. And with me today is a guest that really doesn't need much of an introduction, but we'll do our best anyway. With just over 9.1 million video views on YouTube, is an iconic name for sim racing, car reviews, and tech reviews as well. It is none other than Deb from Andy the Lab. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
About this upcoming season.
Well, it's going to be fantastic, but you've been one of the OG supporters of the championship all the way from back in the day, and obviously season 4 coming up. You've been partnered up, but how have the previous seasons gone for you so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly so hard to believe that we're already talking about season 4. Truthfully, when season 1 came around, I have to really give credit to Taya. She messaged me on Instagram and really kind of encouraged me to register. And at the time, I had never entered any sort of competitive championship. Really, anything sim racing related was just me practicing in game. And so I was like, okay, I know I should do this, but I don't even know what this means. So I remember the night before we had to submit, I went on track and just, because you had to register with a manufacturer, a car. And I'm thinking, I don't even know which one I should pick. So I just did like a lap with each car, and whichever one I felt the most stable with, I just, registered. And little did I know kind of what I was just entering into. And the community of people and friends that I would meet through this is just really quite an amazing opportunity and experience.
Now, you said that your way of getting into More Female Racers by Thrustmaster Rockets was by trying out all of the cars on the tracks. What is your favourite track and car combination?
Oh, so this is such a hard question, because initially when I was just kind of practicing on my own, I just would always gravitate to Bathurst, because I think at one point I actually lived in Australia for a small period, and there was something about it that I just loved. But I have to be honest with you, when I started sim racing, I really was not aware of how big of a community it was. And so, for me, I was like, oh yeah, I sometimes would be I think I was like picking a McLaren at first, because at the time I had lab tested one. and then I had tried getting into an Aston Martin Vantage, which again, I had lab tested one. And I have to be honest with you, I gravitated more to that one because it was uncanny how similar the sounds were. I remember the first time I got into an Aston Martin after driving it around, in Assetto Corsa, I was like, oh my gosh, the mechanical sound the same. It was the most mind-blowing thing ever. So I think for me, I ultimately gravitated towards the Aston because there was this sense of familiarity, and I felt the most stable in it. So I would say most of my racing has been in the Aston. I have expanded to a Mercedes, obviously with the ST in season 3, and now the Ferrari. But if I had to pick a favorite track, I love Imola and Kyalami. There's just something about those two tracks that I just love it so much. And I find that even though I kind of initially experimented the most with Bathurst, that to me now is the more terrifying track, because I realize now that when I'm on it with other people, it is so challenging that I'm just slowing down the pack, and I I love a challenge, but if I try to push it, I just like crash every single time.
Yeah, Bathurst is an amazing track, but it's not exactly the most confidence inspiring to get started out with. But Imola, Kyalami, both good shouts. Imola is a real driver circuit, and Kyalami, very, very fast technical circuit. So some good choices in there. But, let's imagine there's a female out there that is watching this just now and is interested in taking part in the championship, Deb, but maybe not too sure. What would you directly say to them?
I would tell them, don't be afraid and reach out. I mean, especially to the SimGrid, to this particular group, More Female Racers, because you will be so taken back, like I was, with how willing people are to work with you, to, go on track with you and just help. Honestly, that I say it all the time. I have been baffled by the people that have just willingly given up their time, whether it was Ainor in season 1, Josie in season 2, Dan in season 3 and 4, and just really others, like other females, Taya and Marin, and just there's been so many wonderful people that have just wanted to go on track and just be a unit and help each other. And for that, I am just really grateful. So definitely don't hesitate. Just take a step out. Don't be afraid, and you can do it.
Well, best of luck for this season ahead, Deb. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. And remember to check her out on YouTube, on Andy the Lab, also on Twitter and Instagram as well. Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon, and we'll see you on season 4.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
It was such a privilege to chat with Deb, aka Andy the Lab, and you can check out the full uncut interview, as it were. I think it was probably about 20 minutes long to about half an hour we ended up blethering on for, and I really, really enjoyed it. Check out the YouTube over at the SimGrid on this channel here for more details of that very, very soon. But Laura, some great words there from Deb about the championship and about why it's so important for initiatives like this to bring more females into sim racing.
Exactly, and also what she said is just try it out, because you always get help from others. So don't be shy if you say, well, I'm not, as she also said, right? Just when you don't know, when you jump into sim racing, you sometimes are overwhelmed by this maybe. But if you have no idea of how to start, just ask for help. And there are pretty good drivers out there who can give you coaching. That's also what some already do. And then also, as she did, pick a car. Of course, right now here, you can't have a choice because it's the Ferrari. But it makes definitely fun to just talk with other females to just get you rolling.
That is exactly right just now then. So, qualifying is underway here at Imola, and let's give them a lap or so to get warmed up just very quickly. It's a 20-minute session split into 2 10-minute mini sessions. In that, the first 10 minutes just now is going to be Pro Am and Am, and then it's the Pro and Silvers in the final 10 minutes just now. But Laura, Imola, it's an iconic track. Almost everyone has heard of it, you would think. Is it one that you particularly like?
Yeah, good question. Actually, I have not been driving as much on Imola. I think only one race, to be honest, and this is quite a long time ago. But it's a nice flow if you are in the right way. But you need to really be sure that you find the right position on the track, because there are some quite interesting corners as we look at Ravazza, Vierante Alta. These are the ones you have to be really sure about your racing line, and also where we can see, I think, good overtaking situations along the track as people try to sneak in some corners. So this will definitely be interesting, but particularly as I have not driven it that often, I'm having not really a passion for it, so to be honest, but maybe I have to drive it often, and it's more likely that I like it more than Monza, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a great point. For me, Imola's a bit of a weird one. I love watching it. I'm not so keen on driving it purely because, as I've always said, I'm not really that good a sim racer. I enjoy taking part in it, but I also like to be competitive, and Imola is just not one that I am competitive as well. This is the 102 Turn 1 Hedda Rangsetter at twitch.tv, and Hedda is one of the names that I think we were both having a little bit of conflict trying to pronounce the last time out, but one of the other drivers that oh my goodness me, who was that going off sideways? That was the 139 that just absolutely sent it into oblivion. That was Team Cake Angel Cake of Sarah Fair, I believe it was, and I think, and again, I'm not going to be a mind reader here, Laura, but I don't think that lap's going to count.
Yeah, some cut the tracks are also quite interesting, I guess, here on those kind of corners. And yeah, hopefully everybody is aware of that. And it's quite tricky, technical track as well. So that's where we don't see no timings yet on the table. But yeah, we have seen in the, we can always sneak in and see the other drivers joining as well. Also, Oscar Sandberg is back, so welcome back. So he is also, he was quite weak in the training session. So let's see where he's just ending up, because he is pairing today with Celine Witcher. So that's also a nice combo. And I think we also have a new joiner team, David, but I think that person is driving along.
Yeah, that's right. Cosmo Marsh in the Realish Racing number 2. Now, it's marked as a new entry, but I'm sure we saw Cosmo in the previous round, or maybe I'm thinking of one of the other races that we did here at the SimGrid. But this is Cosmo Marsh in the number 2 Ferrari for Realish Racing. So the times will come through very shortly. The first couple of laps just now, the drivers don't have much time to get a fast lap in. And remember, of course, that it's the females or the lesser talented females, whichever is in the team, that have to take part, because obviously you can have a male or a female co-driver, but it has to be it has to be either the female or the slower of the two females, if it's an all-female team, that takes to qualifying just now. And it really adds that. It gives that vibe of a sort of a pro-am partnership for some of the teams, whereas some of the other teams at the top of the list, Laura, it's straight up that these are very, very skilled drivers.
Yeah, that's what we also seen last time, that they really face also in the second stint kind of a race in the race, because we have 3 times 20-minute stints kind of, and this gives everybody the chance to also gain some time back or lose it. This is what we also have seen, depending on how the start goes and how you just have to adapt to your strategy. But as we see right now, the timing's 1:45. I think they can be a bit faster, as we have seen in the training. So Hedda Rangsetter, she's with 102 car actually now in the first place, and the other times are dropping in. And also we have a discount code which dropped in, which is 10% off at thesimhound.com. It's More Female Races 10, so MFR 10 for our sponsors. And it's always great that we have those ones, because then everybody has also the chance to maybe get some other deals around it and be happy joining different series. And also what we sometimes see is that you just, for example, win a steering wheel. That's also quite interesting, and what you definitely need to have when you do sim racing. So everybody just, also what I've noticed, ramp up their equipment, so to say, from the first round to the 4th round.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest, I'm quite annoyed at that, because as many people know, I'm a Thrustmaster fanboy. I've got my T300 RS, and I've already went and ruined it. So the amount of time that I've been on the wheel, I've basically managed to wear some of the rubber down, and if I'd had a pair of those SimHound gloves, then that probably wouldn't have happened. So yeah, head over to simhound.com, use the code MFR10 and get yourself 10% off some of their fantastic items over there. Anyway, 13 and a half minutes left in qualifying, 3.5 minutes left in this part of qualifying. It is the black coloured cars and the red coloured cars on the leaderboard that will be in qualifying just now, and that is Melissa Taplin at the top of the timings just now, down into the second chicane just now. And on the term of qualifying, I mean, Melissa Taplin 0.4 of a second up over the cars in front of her, but my issue is looking towards the race itself here, Laura, and I'm thinking about Tamburello, and I'm thinking about how in previous races, sometimes we've not even made the start-finish line.
Yeah, so actually, if it's now also that close together, we hope that at least then there is a bit of space on the track, especially when we go into the first corners. But as you see, and also what others told throughout the season, that getting into each single race, and this is also happening each single time, the gaps are so close together right now in comparison to the first rounds, which we had seen, that even now it's really pretty tricky to get a clean lap if everybody is together on the track. As we also see, there are some kind of clusters around the track, but at least some kind of matched and mapped to be alone on the track. And also Sarah Fair, which we see here now in the car, which is actually in the M category, is also really, really strong throughout the season. And David, I hope that we have a good start and that everybody can make it to the finish line, that we also have great racing. But it will be tight because everybody's directly fighting in the first one for the position, because actually the racers are literally to be forced to do the sprint races with the 20-minute stints they do.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Cracking lap there from Sarah Fair to go up at the third position, taking 5.5 tenths of a second off of her time. Moves up to third position. Cosmo Marsh, though, up into second. This is coming down the final corner just now through Ravazza, and it's going to be across the line in just a second. Can Cosmo Marsh knock Melissa Taplin off the top of the timing screens just now? It's not going to be enough to do that, but is going to have one more lap in the books there. Lisa Louise-Keane for Wild Things Racing in the number 7 is, I'm not sure if I heard that right. Did I just hear in my ears there 1.5 seconds up? Surely that's got to be a mistake. That is going to be an absolutely nuclear time if that is the case there from Lisa Louise-Keane. We'll get an ID on that in just a second, because I'm not believing that. Stranger things have happened, don't get me wrong, but as the car comes down through Variante Alta, down through that right-hander towards the left-handers at Ravazza, and through the final corner just now, let's see what Lisa Louise-Keane can do in that Wild Things Racing machine. Round that right-hander to start another lap, and I don't think it is. Oh my goodness me!
Wow.
The timing screen updates, Laura, at 1.1 seconds. Can we just take a second to appreciate what a lap that was from Lisa Louise-Keane?
Definitely great, and also what we see in Wild Things Racing is really great in teamwork, and also then working on different strategies and different training sessions, and that has definitely played out in the last kind of minutes or seconds to just count down. That's always pretty smart to do that move, because now nobody can really push it back, and this is really a great time from her.
An improvement as well for Melissa Taplin, but nowhere near enough. 9 tenths of a second now behind. And that lap came out of absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere for Wild Things Racing Rossi. Of course, teamed up with Richard Pixley in that Ferrari. But Annalise Wright is going to see what she can do just now. Currently 7 tenths of a second up. This would be fast enough to put Team Riot into P2 provisionally. We'll see just now, of course, double AM winner behind the wheel coming through Ravazza for the final time. What can Annalise Wright do? We wait with bated breath. It's looking good. It could be second place on the cards for Annalise Riot. Comes across the line. What is it going to be? It is second place, 7 tenths of a second up. But pole position in AM, and Lisa Louise-Keane then takes that pole position in that class as well, in the AM class. So, well, there we go, Laura. As the pros and silvers make their way out, that came out of absolutely nowhere for Lisa Louise-Keane.
And they are definitely pretty fast. When we look at the M category in general, they're also kind of are really sometimes in between the silvers. So that's a good time to be in the 1.4 44, which is, or 43, sorry. That's really actually a good time. And also what we have seen is a 42 in the training. So maybe that's giving them a good chance to be also in the mid-pack field because, yeah, as we see, the track is small, but we have a lot of teams driving here. So it will be kind of rush hour season later on. And also as we see right now here, everybody tries to give each other space to make a good lap time because, as you said, it's not enough actually. Sometimes you just have one tiny mistake and then you can't do your time, and then you sit directly in the field from, let's say, 10th to 20th place, and then this is obviously the point where the action takes place, of course, to the start procedures. So we hope that, yeah, everybody can improve their timings from the training, and also maybe we see some of the M teams directly in the silver category right up in the front.
So much hope, so much faith you have, Laura. I wish I shared it, but it scares me, the thought of all of these cars, of all 26 cars making their way down to Tamburello for the first time. Yeah, it's going to be a scary, scary sight nonetheless. But this is the wonderful thing on it, is obviously we've had races through previous seasons, and you'll get incidents and things happening. But the one thing that we've always tried to do with this championship is provide a platform and a space where the drivers can learn, where the drivers can learn and not get stick or and you know, not get hauled over the coals. They get to learn where they've gone wrong, because what will happen is, in 9 times out of 10, is a Lou Gobi just, what on earth, come on, how does that happen? How do we just get one lap from a Lou Gobi and then suddenly it's 2 seconds faster, Laura?
It's like it's the last time, right? She first round on the track, and then she always just smash it. I mean, I think she's a good qualifying driver, so that's what we can definitely say. And yeah, you have to get it right, and if you're first out, then probably that's kind of a smart move. But yeah, the others are also quite fast in that sense, and maybe that's what we sometimes also see. What you do in the training doesn't have to be necessarily the right time, right? You just always have a strategy to hold back your horses, and then just smash it in the qualifying session where it actually is important to do that. So the next ones are coming in, and also the 150, which is Yvonne Hufela, also with 143 right now at this time. But yeah, it's actually quite great to see how fast Alu Gobi is all the way. So do we have actually a new favorite to look at, David?
That is very possibly the case, and I know obviously our production team are pointing out that it's a different class, but the point I was trying to make is that you look down the rest of the order and everyone else is just taking it nice and gentle on their first flying lap, getting a good banker lap in, and Alu Gobi is just bang, absolutely straight on fire from the get-go, and that is a warning sign if ever there was from Alu Gobi. Yvonne Hufela then for the 150 team in second position just now. That's the RHG esports machine that she shares with Dennis Schoeninger, and the problem is, for me, Laura, is if Alu Gobi is showing that pace right now, that is a sign that Alu wants to take the race and just head off with it. You know, she wants to just absolutely get away from the get-go.
Exactly, and we just have to see what the timings will look like for Mia Svensson and also Sarah Doff, which we had seen last time. But yeah, today I think we also have some others who want to show off what they can do. Denise Pope is quite strong. Sarah Moore is driving with her together. But yeah, if we look at the pro category teams, we also have 4 in the way. So Sarah Doff definitely also is one we have to look at. And Althea Book is now in the 9th place, also quite up high. Celine Witcher in the place before that, and Natalie Lee also quite up high in these top 10 positions where actually everybody wants to be, and also Celine now just jumps back to or up to 5th place. So this is what we definitely want to see, that actually the places or the timings between the 1st and the 10th place are close together, because this shows how good they train and how good they are also even within their own teams, right? You have to you just don't have like a bad lap time in one place and then the second driver is just maybe 2 seconds off the pace, but they are coming really close together so that they are all even in their timings. And this is quite interesting to see how good they train and support each other throughout these championships to come better together with in terms of their timings.
Now, what we should have been saying is that Esmeralda van der Nald did an amazing lap there. It brought the gap really close down to just over 1 second to Alu Gobi. We couldn't say that, however, because Alu Gobi just immediately responded with another crazy lap, 141.031, actually improves by a whole half a second and not done yet. Amazing, amazing stuff right now. 1.6 seconds, the gap to the best of the rest between Alu Gobi, Esmeralda van der Nald, and then Sarah Dove in third place in the 177 GTWR RAG Female Racing number 1 machine. But my goodness me, what, I've got to be honest, I mean, Esmeralda van der Nald to get up into fourth place, I was about to say, currently leading their class, and then Sophia Ronwin decides to put paid to that in the 77 and jump up there for the GTWR RAG Female Racing number 2. I've got a feeling, Laura, the next minute and a half is going to be absolute bedlam right now because the times are just coming down and down and down, and the closest now is Sarah Dove 142.225 just now.
Yeah, exactly. But nobody besides Alu Gobi has the 141 actually cracking at the moment, and we still have some yellow faces, which is actually not helping everybody to get their lap times great done, because that's what you have to. And this is what they always try to do it in the first stints, because then maybe you have no spin-offs and also maybe ones who try to push. But yeah, we can definitely see that also Ivanova is in the third place and Mia Svensson in the 6th. I guess there will be some times coming from her as well, because she's normally not 1.86 off the track, or 0.6 of the pace. So I think that she will also try to nail it. Hopefully she has still the time to do that, because with the yellow face, that's always the tricky ones. If you just wait until the last minutes, then sometimes it could happen that there is no chance to actually beat your time, which you have set for yourself.
Absolutely spot on with that. 1:20 left to go in the second part of qualifying. Guernsey on YouTube, a very good evening. Thanks for joining us. 2 driver swaps in a 60-minute race. Yes, that is interesting. So the driver that starts the race will finish the race. They swap over to their pro driver in the middle, and then it's back to the female drivers at the end. And this is a GT3 Ferrari race only. That's right. So it's the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evos. It was the non-Evo or the Evo version they were allowed to choose from. Every single team chose the Evo version, probably for predictable reasons. So hope that clears that up, and hope you're going to stay tuned for the rest of the season. But 40 seconds left to go. It is still Alu Gobi out by a country mile, 141.031 from Mia Svensson now, who jumps up into second place there, 1.1 second behind. And you've now got, what's that, 6 drivers within 0.7 of a second. But it doesn't look likely at this point in time that anyone is even going to catch up, Laura, to Alu Gobi.
Yeah, and this is so funny. When we look at Spa, there was Alu before Sarah and then Mia, and now it's they always try to swap each other around, even especially when it comes to qualifying and also in the race, because then they try to actually be in this top 5. And also when we look back at Monza, it was actually also these 3 who really made it up for the podium, and good to see that they predictably do this for the next round as well. I'm curious of how this will go in Silverstone. I think they like the Belgium and the Italian ones quite well, the tracks at least. Yeah, it's weird to say that these 3 already are really fighting for the championship titles, because they're already always just in these kind of top positions. But yeah, we have to say that, of course, we have now 4 teams in the pro category, and the silver ones are quite a massive crowd. And where we look at Althea Book here now, concentrated as always, really focusing on her lap times, watching her also in the stream, which is going crazy, and also the fans are always following her. That's really nice to see that some of the drivers have a good crowd already behind them cheering for that. But yeah, the session is closely over, and then let's see what the rest can do when they start.
Oh, Lara, Sophia Ronwin goes into second place with probably the lap of her life. That is a stunning lap from the silver driver to go up into P2, 142.057. That is fantastic to see. Alu Gobi in the lead for pro. Sophia Ronwin with that cracking lap in the lead of silver. Lisa Louise Keane in the lead of Pro-Am. And then in the Am class, it's Annalise Riot in the lead of her class. So there we go, qualifying done and dusted. Alu Gobi again right at the front. And wow, that is a very, very close qualifying session. I'm just having a look here. That is, what's that, 30 drivers, 23 drivers split by 4 seconds. So across all of the different skill levels on here, I think this is going to be a fantastic race tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and also pretty great to see that Sophia is quite up high now in her best position ever. Then she just really jumped directly into the race, but also great to see that she really nailed it down. But we can say already, really the 1.41 is actually the outstanding lap, which was done by Alu Gobi. But when we look down, it's until the 8th place where everybody is really close together, and then we have the pack of the 1:43 timings, which are from position 9 until position 18. But it's also great to see that we have really the normally the names we know quite well, like Abadi Andrade in 14th place. So this will be like a pretty tough mid-pack field, also with Jenny Kamlukli together and Sarah Moore in 10th place. So that will be interesting to see. But but we can say Annalise Wright win the 188. She's the category pole, which is on place 20. So that's what actually is predictable in that sense. But with the 144 was also quite nice to see this coming. Yeah, and unfortunately or luckily, we don't have rain today, so that's quite good. This is also what comes into play if we have different and tricky conditions on the track. But yeah, I'm really definitely looking forward how the starting procedure actually can work out for all of the drivers, and definitely it will be interesting. And I hope that the chat, and as we also seen many joined, they have their fan crowd behind them, keeping their thumbs up, cheering for their teams, and this is great to see. And thanks for joining as well, and keeping the mood up for your ladies and the male drivers out there as well.
Well, talking of fan clubs, Laura, I've got to be honest with you. I'm completely delighted to say tonight I'm not going to get beat up by the fan club of the 997 Hot and Spicy crew, because I can finally pronounce Beata Bahenska's name properly. So hopefully I'm not going to get lynched anymore on that.
But okay, then you have already your fan club. That's definitely done. Then I have to pick mine. But this is the problem. If I just say, okay, that's the car which is trying to win, then I'm obviously always wrong and something is happening. So I'm just better being quiet on that one. But I think that from what we have seen last time, the ones who are in the first, let's say, top 10, they always try to fight then actually for their positions going forward.
So the cars are gridding up just now. We'll head to the grid very, very shortly. I'm just having a look at that grid, and I'm trying to think of who I think is going to do very, very well on that. Do you know what? I'm thinking we could see a huge upset. If Alu Gobi tears off in the distance, it's going to be her race to lose. However, if Sophia Ronwin can make a move into turn 1, I think this could be Sophie's race to surprise everyone. However, here we are on the grid. The car's ready. We've got 4 minutes, so we've got plenty of time to take you through the order. Pole is looking good for Alu Gobi in that number 12 machine, and sharing that car with Harry Phillips in the Grip Hacks Engineering number 12. Sophia Ronwin lines up alongside the number 77 GTWR RAG Female Racing number 2, sharing that with Matt Muirheads tonight. Mia Svensson in the number 3 Intruder Racing team in 3rd position. Sarah Dove in 4th, Yvonne Hooflaar in 5th position in the number 150 on your right hand side there, and then it's Althea Book on the left with the 66. Esmeralda van der Nald in 7th position with Celine Witcher in 8th position. Then it's the 90 Team Racing Point women of Roberta Leska in that 9th position there. Sarah Moore for Team Cake is in the 26. For Wild Things Racing, epics.gg in that 26 car in 10th position. Jenny Kamugli, who we saw that fantastic hot lap from earlier on, in the 104 in 11th place. Beata Bahenska in the 997 in 12th position, and then it's the number 18 of Jessica Pelletier in 13th position, Eva de Andrade in 14th, and then the 15th position car is going to be Maria Krutskova in the number 14. Lisa Louise Keane with that cracking lap there in the number 7 heads into 16th position. It's then the 103 of Natalie Lee in 17th, 18th position for Maren Edwards, and then in the 87 GTWR RHG female racing number 5, Lauren Valenza in 19th position, Annalise Riot in 20th position, Melissa Taplin in 21st. It's then Cosmo Marsh, our newcomer to the series, in 22nd position, Sarah Fair in 23rd, Heda Rangsetter in 24th, Elisa Indriani in 25th, and then at the back of the grid in 26th position for the number 11 team is going to be Charlotte Robertson for High Toad Racing, heads bosun. So there we go, that is our 26 cars taking part tonight. This is going to be probably one of the races of the season here, Laura. I'm going to call it right now.
Definitely is, yeah, because if we look at the first corners, that will be quite tricky, and also what the chat said, hopefully we make it through turn 1 quite easily, but yeah, I guess that we do see, maybe they hold each other back and say, okay, let's just make a good first lap, or they try to just push everything because they know that the second drivers definitely also want to push some positions forward. But yeah, also great the helicopter perspective which we have on the track to see that. It's pretty amazing, and also they at least have a lap to warm up their tires, so that's all quite good. And also the brakes are hopefully then hard enough to just get them rolling around. And this is a good situation where you can try to calm maybe down your adrenaline, because that's what we also heard from Andy the lab, right? You just, if you jump into the race and you maybe have saying, okay, I have never driven on Imola, I'm not quite happy maybe with the Ferrari, and then I have to just be at the starting position. We know that we are all nervous for that, so that's why it's good to have at least a moment to breathe through, and also your teammates with you in the chat to hopefully guide you through this first lap, saying, okay, we just give you another spotter and help you navigate through the traffic, because that's actually a great and a lot of cars on the grid, to be honest.
Well, let's catch up with YouTube then. Slipstream is giving a big shout out for all the turn 1 ladies. That's the 101, the 103 and the 102 as well. Let me just make sure that I've not missed anyone else. That's right, so that is them. Tristan de Nobrega is looking forward to writing the post-race report. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed reading those blogs. Callisto 8196, this is a 6-round championship. This is round 3 of 6 of them, and the 6th one is really cool because it's a track that is voted by the public. The cars are away to head off onto their formation lap. Joshua Burkhardt is giving a big shout out to the 187 Team Riot Spice Cake machine of Annalise Riot and Elle McKeon behind the wheel of that one. But the cars making their way round just now, and a good evening to the form actually who's joined us. This is all ladies behind the wheel of this part of the race. They then swap over to their co-driver, who may be male or female, and then it is the females back behind the wheel for the final race of the season. Pavel Dominic is giving a big shout out to Turn 1 Biscuits, Jenny Kamugli, who we saw in that hot lap there. But Laura, now the tension starts to rise. Halfway point coming up to the season. Points matter, especially since the leaders of all of the classes have won every single race, both races so far in the championship. They need to win this one tonight as well, don't they?
Yeah, obviously they won't, and they will, because that's what makes it interesting. But yeah, for the rest it will be tricky. If they can't catch up, then this will be quite easy in the next rounds to determine, actually who's going to win. Normally we have just sometimes made up the last rounds and got our championship in the last race, but maybe here it's kind of clear quite some early races before we close off the season, and maybe before the public vote, because we will be then in the next round in Silverstone and then Zolder, which is also quite a technical track and also pretty narrow for so many cars. But actually it's always like if you like Imola or not. It depends. Some drivers don't like it, and that's what we also maybe then can ask some of the ones who then are being in chat and discuss with us later after the race of how they find it. But yeah, you have to really like the track to be actually fast and competitive. But I think that most had at least the time to train, because it gives a bit of a advanced season notification, so that they have the chance to train with your buddies and also get the maybe a hint of how they can make their setups right for the next rounds, because that's actually what we also always have to say. It doesn't matter if you are in a different team. If you just ask for help, then some are really happy to share maybe some tricks and tips on their setups to make it easier to get the car actually right. And yeah, let's see how they don't leave any gaps between the cars, because then we see Alu Gobi just smashing the gas pedal, and then she is always like flying high. So everybody has to be paying attention to that.
Flying high, I like that. That's going to be Alu Gobi's new phase. The cars splitting down into 2x2 as they head towards Ravazza then for the first time on this formation lap here at Imola, round 3 of More Female Racers Season 4. Alu Gobi, Sophia Ronwin are your two leading cars side by side out the final corner. Laura Luff, take us away for the start.
Yeah, quite. They're just still trying to catch up also in the last corners, which we see then here. Everybody's trying to wait for the actual green light to come up for the races. They have to just line up there, and it's really, really just like a epic. You just wait until you actually have the flag being waved and giving the lights. So as you can see, they always have to be like that and wait until that's be patient, but also being like directly clear of when the actual race line starts for them. So it just comes in any second. It's green, and there you see the flag is waved. And also what we can definitely say, that Alu Gobi has competition from Sophia Onren, and they're side by side most of the tracks, and they are also like going 3 wide in the back of the pack. And I've just seen a massive crash, and that's what we also said going into turn 1. We have already just a pile up in the second half of the grid, and this is what normally happens when you have this kind of effect when some people just spin in the first place. But what we can definitely say that Alu Gobi is just just had some of the crashes, but she is still in the front, and also Sophia Onren on the second place. They're just trying to get away from the rest of it, which is then the number 3 car, which is Mia Svensson together also with then Sarah Doff. But yeah, as we've seen, at least not everybody made it to the first corner, but they make it now to the next ones. David, at least.
Wow. I'm gonna say it right now. I have seen many worse starts than that. That was really actually quite tiny from 99% of the field. Then you had one car skinned across the grass and unfortunately collecting another car. But apart from that, it was just a case of cars going wide. So very impressed with the start. But unfortunately, Alu Gobi is away. Absolutely checking out right now, and no one anywhere close to catching up with them at the second, because it looks to be that's got to be at least 7/10 of a second that Alu Gobi has on Sophia Ronwin there. So it's Alu Gobi from Sophia Ronwin, from Sarah Dove, Mia Svensson in 4th position, just behind Sarah Dove there. But you can see Yvonne Hoofler trying to hold on to that position from Althea Book. Lap 1 in the books, and I'm going to be honest. I think from the history of doing more female racers, Laura, that is one of the cleanest starts that we have had, as Mia Svensson goes a little bit too deep, almost making me eat my words there and then. But yeah, I'm going to take that. That is really clean for them.
Yeah, that's true. I can also relate to that, because it was just maybe one car who came back on track a bit of unsafe, but the rest was kind of clear. And yeah, if somebody goes wide, then they still try to push it. But as you see, some are really just diving in there a bit there and trying to just get in there for the mates. But yeah, Althea Book is just trying to get it. But as we can definitely say, she's trying not to force her teammate then really kind of off the grid, and she's holding back also and that's what gentleman agreement, or ladies agreement as we can call it now, is being pulled out. But yeah, definitely it was clean, and some are actually quite patient. This is interesting.
Yeah, this is a very, very different race. I did say that I got the feeling this was going to be an absolute cracker of a race, and we've not been disappointed for the first couple of laps just now. Then further down the field, and this is Jessica Pelletier trying to hunt down the back of the number 90 car. That's the Team Racing Point Women of Roberta Leska, just starting to get a better exit out of Aqua Minerale on the run down to that final corner there, down into Ravazza. Late on the brakes, pulls the car into the left hand side. That's going to wash out to the wide there, and Roberta Leska gets a better run out through the first part of Ravazza and through the second part, but gives it to the rookie monsters number 18 of Jessica Pelletier. So if you're brand new to More Female Racers, this is a 2 pit stop race. We do 3 20-minute stints for the drivers. They have to come in, swap over to another driver, and then the female drivers drive the last section of the race. Cosmo Marsh in 17th position round the outside of Natalie Lee, thinks better of it. This is a different race. There's a different breed of racing that we've seen, Laura. You mentioned it earlier, patience seems to be a huge word here. We've not seen that so far in previous seasons.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe they have their own Discord chats about that for getting this kind of... maybe they have a motto for every race, right? So this is now the patience race. I look at that, I mean, nobody's actually trying to really force an overtaking maneuver here, and they all line up like on pearls. So I'm not sure if that's the right expression in English, but yeah, they just really try to be behind each other and wait for their perfect moment, and maybe try at least being a bit aggressive, but not really actually. What we can definitely say here, but going wide, and this is actually the best position now for Maria Grishkova to just overtake. This is kind of a given now, but yeah, this is interesting that they are all kind of holding back aggressive maneuvers. But yeah, as we can definitely say, Cosmo Marsh, he's now leading the M category in 17th place, and they're all lying together, and this is really nice. And yeah, this is actually what we also have thanks to the production team. Yeah, a single file race, that's actually the safest way. Yeah, true, because nothing can happen if you just don't smash into each other. But yeah, I hope that at least in the second part we do see more overtaking maneuvers, as we are normally excited to see them. But yeah, let's look at how this will evolve throughout the next, let's say, 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at Spa, we were disappointed to see some start line chaos. We've not had that, and unfortunately, I think we have to be careful what we ask for here in the commentary box, because we didn't want to see that, and we've had a very calm and calculated start to the race from all of these drivers just now. However, I'm actually at the point now, shall we just call the race for a Lou Gobi? 4 seconds ahead with 3 laps in the book. That's a mad pace to be going wrong on for the Griffpax engineering driver just now. Incredible stuff. But I also have to say, I mean, Sophia Ronwin to be up there in second place and 2 seconds clear, 2.5 seconds clear, now down to 1.5 seconds over Sarah Dove. What a drive from the silver class driver.
Yeah, definitely, but she is also quite strong in the last ones as well, so she's just trying, and also the last season, to be honest. But yeah, here she's did the magic. I mean, she's done the magic. That was pretty amazing to see that. And Natalie Leach thinks she's getting some rain on the track, but maybe she's also clearing off her windshield from all the dust and also the kind of birds who are flying around, and also maybe the bees coming onto the track, because it's a sunny, lovely day here at Imola. But Natalie Lee also really good in her driving normally, just being quite now under pressure from Louise Keane then here on the Pro-Am category, and then Cosmo Marsh having like a pack of 5-6 cars behind Natalie Lee. So that's quite interesting to see how this will evolve throughout the next corners, because I guess that also they want to overtake then some cars which I actually can see, and this is a different situation because we have now 3 battling with the Silver Pro-Am in the M category for 1 position, let's call it the 15th place. So great to see that they also have a good strategy behind that. But yeah, you're right. I'm not wanting to call it that they should be like actually being more aggressive. But as we see Cosmo Marsh, he's pretty calm, and this was a good maneuver. great engineered and with a lot of patience. Also there a bit of white finally right, but there was no push. It was actually a good overtaking maneuver, as we have seen from many of the cars. And now, as we said, yeah, we now see that how they just evolved throughout the 15th and 16th place.
Right, I don't know how to say this. Alu Gobi, last lap, right, 141.094. Not only is that about 6/100ths of a second off of her pole time, but it was 2.2 seconds faster than Sophia Ronwin. How is that actually possible? That is unbelievable pace right now. I'm absolutely speechless at the pace on from Ulu Gobi, as we've got a yellow flag getting brought out by the number 18 just now, and the 137 as well. So that is Team Cake Race Sim Tools Esports Martin Edwards that brings that one out. But well, I mean, for the most part, it's been a very, very prim and proper start to this race here, Laura.
Yeah, and the thing is that we maybe see now Hedda Rangseter in the, fighting position. And then this was a kind of not a problem for Sarah Fair, just going a bit wide here, but also really calm and trying to be more cautious to sneak in different corners and trying to get a hold of everybody, but really clean driving, what we definitely see here. And I can definitely say, I mean, we have to ask what Alu Gobi is doing in her sim rig, because that's insane.
I cannot believe this. I'm sorry to jump in, Laura, but how is that even possible from Alu Gobi? Faster than her qualifying, 140.905. 140.905. Hearing that Martin Edwards in the 137 has crashed at turn 1. We'll have a little look at that as well and see if we can get some replays very, very shortly. But Laura, I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's almost getting to the point where, you know, you run out of superlatives to use. But I mean, 7.6 seconds after 5 laps. I think that says everything that needs to be said. Meanwhile, we've got an amazing battle going on with all 3 AMs on the track just now. Sarah Fair, Cosmo Marsh has lost that position, and Annalise Riot actually going backwards. So now in 19th position. So this is all for the class as well, as Cosmo Marsh having a look to the inside. This is through into Aqua Minerale. Thinks better of it, pulls out, but Sarah Fair out in front of that Team Cake car.
Yeah, definitely. But if you look at this, that the M category is actually splitting up the Pro M and also leaving silver class drivers behind, which is kind of amazing to see that they always getting stronger in their position. Always have to swap then for the next season, of course, because they're getting really fast quite easily. But Sarah Fair, she is now actually leading before Cosmo Parsh, and it's actually, we have to say that we got some penalties coming in. Which is normally the case from our race engineers and also the race control, which is involving cars 14, 9 and 7 and 104 regarding this racing incident. So let's see what will come out of this. But yeah, it's great to see that actually Sarah Fair is quite ahead of this, and now we have a replay, David.
Yeah, so here we go. This is the start then, and again a little bit of contact, and again looking at that one, that is very easy to understand what's happened there. We can't ID the cars because it's quite far back, but one of the cars, you saw it jinking to the left to avoid another car, straight into the path of another car there. So definitely no intention made. It wasn't like it was a crazy dive. It was trying to avoid another car and causing an incident. These things happen, unfortunately. So it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, obviously it was the fault of one car, but when I say that, it wasn't like it was an intentional thing here. Right, let's have a look then. This is going to be, is that Sarah Fair on the inside there? And into turn 1 there, and that's contact, isn't it? That is the number 2 of Realish Racing of Cosmo Marsh, and that is the 137 then of Martin Edwards for Team Cake Racing SimTool Esports. So a little bit opportunistic, you think, there up the inside there.
Yeah, that was what we actually had seen then, and of course, yeah, let's see how they just get it out on track. But Cosmo is actually quite holding back now in the second position, actually being kind of having troubles or just trying to give others the pace. So he's now letting Annalise Wright just pass him, but maybe just trying to also be the one who is fighting back and forth. But it's actually great to see that he is quite good in the position to fight back, and also great livery here. This is what we have to mention. This is also great, not only from how the drivers evolve throughout the race with everything, but also how many details they pay into this. And we have another replay here, which kind of is the discussion which we had before with the 137, where we had the yellow flag for that kind of situation. But this is when you go side by side, then you can easily oversee, and this was the car with Maren Edwards and Josie Austin in that position. Yeah, but let's see what's gonna happen with Cosmo Marsh, because Annalise Wright just lost it now again back to 21st place, but he's under pressure from Beta Buchenska.
So the incident on lap 2 involving cars number 15 and 66, that is Esmeralda van der Nald, who sent it up the inside of Altea. Book made contact and eventually gave that position back. It's a warning for avoidable contact to the number 15. So Esmeralda van der Nald basically has been told off and told not to do it again. So that is the end of that matter just now. Unbelievably, it's now an 11.7 second gap after 8 laps for Alou Gobi and for Sarah Dove now, who has made that move. Now, we missed that. Sarah Dove taking that position from Sophie Aronwin. They are still very, very close on track, split together by just about a second here, but this is Hedda Rangseter for turn 1's 102 machine up the inside of Lisa Louise-Keane, like taking candy from a baby. That is late on the brakes, and that is how you do it. But look at the run from Lisa Louise-Keane around the outside through the chicane. There isn't going to happen, but now Lisa Louise-Keane under pressure here from Jessica Pelletier. Jessica thinks better of it, pulls out of that move, and that is going to be 14th position for Hedda Rangseter. Now let's have a look further up then, because the 14th place car just now, we've got a yellow flag further up the field. That has been cleared, but 45 minutes left to go, and where do I put this politely, Laura? This has been one of the most enjoyable races that I've seen from more female racers.
Yeah, definitely. And also now they're picking up a bit of the pace to try to overtake. That's what I can definitely say. That they are now closing the gaps more often, especially throughout several groups of 3 just racing. And that's why we have the lovely split screen, thanks to our production team, to pull this together, because we have many situations now on track where we have to keep an eye on, because they're now trying to at least have a good another position when the teammate swaps will come shortly. And nice to see what we can do. And also, yeah, we have some changes up in the front where Sarah Dove just pulled it through. And Sophia Unrun is now in the 3rd place, but look at the situation we have here on the 22nd position. This is then with...
Oh, Laura, what's happened to Yvonne Hooflaar? Yvonne was up in 5th position, dropping all the way down now into 8th position there. So Yvonne has obviously spun out.
Yeah, there must be something out of the camera which we haven't seen, but yeah, unfortunately for her, it could sometimes be actually a quite tiny mistake when you just be a bit off track, and then as you see on the track map, everybody is close together, so you actually can't really just hold it back.
Just looking there, penalty there for car number 18. That's Rookie Monsters Jessica Pelletier against the number 90 of Team Racing Point Women, Roberta Leska. 5-second penalty for avoidable contact there, so Jessica will have to serve that on the pit stop. And that in the background is, I believe, the number 2 Cosmo Marsh, getting it all wrong coming out of Toza. Gets back onto the track there, faces the right way, but that's a bit of an awkward turn round the corner there. And Sarah Fair now, this is back for the battle of the AMS right now, currently chasing down Lisa Louise-Keane. So Lisa has dropped all the way down, into, 16th position after that really strong qualifying and a really good start. It's now, it looks like the Anne battle is going to be catching up on her very, very shortly. But we're just about 2.5 minutes away from our first pit stops of the evening. And Yvonne Hooflaar into the pits just now. And I'm wondering if that is just to cool things down a bit, get the other driver in, and then come back for the final stint of the race here. But Laura, an interesting start to the race just now. Alu Gobi obviously away off into the sunset just now, but Saradov, great job to get that second place, and Sophia Ronwin looking quite comfortable in that third right now.
Yeah, definitely. And what we can say, maybe there are some teams just considering some undercuts as well, if they are just behind others and can't pull away or can't pull through. That's also what we can definitely maybe keep an eye on. But yeah, actually, I have to say I'm pretty happy about how this race is actually going to take out. And then we just look at the replay, actually, where she went a bit wide here. That was that's why she lost the position here. But that's what I said also with Yvonne. It can happen quite easily if you have a tiny little mistake, and then as they're also close together, then this is why they maybe try to see if they can really pull away, or if they say, okay, I come into the pit lane, just make a quick driver change, and then see where we come out of the track. And then Sarah Fair still trying to push a bit further. At least, at Louise Keane to just get a position better up in 15th place. But yeah, nice to see that they have so much fun out on track and also trying to look for the perfect overtaking situation.
Penalty announcements. The incident on lap 5 involving cars 188 and 102. That's Hedda Rangseter and the car of Annalise Riot. That is determined to be a racing incident, so no further action on that one. Pit stop window is open, and many cars coming in to swap over drivers and swap over to a new strategy, possibly, as Laura just hinted to, trying to do the undercut. Many cars staying out, as we see Sarah Fair on the back of Lisa Louise Keane here. This is going to be a move for position. This is going to be for provisionally 9th position on the grid, but again, many cars choosing to pit just now. This is the number 150 car just now then, and that is how you don't turn the first chicane. So that is the 150 of Yvonne Hooflaar. That is how they ended up losing all that time and all that position as well. However, in the grand scheme of things, that's not all that much to worry about, Laura, is it?
No, actually not, because that is just a tiny one, and you see that 2 cars passed her, and maybe there's a chance now to get her teammate in the car and just trying to pull away from others who might be not directly in their window. And Saradov is just now coming in and trying maybe to undercut to Alu Gobi. But this will be interesting because Alu is just far away, so that maybe is not what's gonna happen. But yeah, we never know. Sometimes also, and this is what we haven't seen yet, where we see Lisa Louise Keane going wide, and also maybe some tires are already a bit done with it. It could also be the case, but pretty great drive from her to be so consistent right now and just getting Cosmo Marsh again at the back of it. It's getting bumpy right here with the overtaking maneuver they try to pull together. But yeah, it's great to see that some of them are really trying to either get it on track or just getting in the pit lane.
Yeah, and Cosmo Marsh is throwing everything in the kitchen sink into trying to recover these positions here, but looks like almost everyone into pit lane just now, certainly 3rd to 7th to 8th included just now, and then obviously the co-drivers into the cars add a different dynamic to the race as well, and I'd be very interested to see what happens, Laura, to the lap times. But Alu Gobi's choosing to stay out just now has almost got a pit stop's worth of time between themselves and the entire field just now, and I think surely that Alu is... Well, actually, I've just realised that Alu Gobi sharing with Harry Phillips, and indeed Alu Gobi into the pits just now to hand over that car. And you'd think that Sophia Ronwin is going to have to pop in as well, but I still can't believe that's 19.7 seconds of a difference between the 2 cars.
And also what we definitely look at is Mark Lewis. It's actually the teammate of Altea Book now, and looking at the 5th place coming out of the pits right now. So that's actually also a quite smart move, because they were not so up high in the ranking before. At least some of the cars are getting closer together, and also with Mia Svensson now still sitting in the 4th place. That's why they just didn't lose some time. But here definitely Mark Lewis just could close the gap to Eve Field then with the 3 car actually being then in front. So that's quite nice that they have now a tiny little battle going on between the two. And also we have the teammate in the 15th car, which is Stefan Griffith, now being in the car, just trying to take over from Esmeralda van der Naald, and a great drive from this team actually also as well. And you see that the timings are quite close now together with these undercuts they try to do, and coming in quite early. So we have kind of a shakedown maybe then for the 3rd driver change actually.
Yeah, for sure. 36.5 minutes left to go in the race. We're currently watching Annelies Riot for Team Riot in the 188 car. That's in the AM class as well. Team Riot Spice Cake. Still a hand over that car to El McKeon, but we'll keep an eye on that and see when that happens. Goes a little bit wide there, and Josie Austin now all over the back of that car, and Josie Austin is not one that you want to mess with, especially with her crazy recipes. I remember in season 2 or season 3 she was having an interview with us, and she was telling us why the Team Cake name. Wow, that is. Yeah, that is quite a line from Annelies Riot, and yeah, that's not really cost them too well. But basically, Josie absolutely loves cake and different types of cake, and I think we fell out because she was trying to convince me that something like beetroot and apple cake was delicious, and I was just having absolutely none of it. It just, no, beetroot in a cake, no, it's just not happening.
I'm getting hungry. Maybe we should ask.
I know, but to be honest, yeah, I'll go and maybe bake us a little cake. Actually, we'll ask Josie.
Yeah.
Maybe Josie can send us one to the virtual commentary booth.
Yeah, exactly. That would be awesome. Maybe
As
we
long
should
as it's not beetroot.
Yeah, exactly. No, but actually I like that they just pull so much effort and detail into their names, and also how they actually bring the cars nicely prepared on track, not also from their setups, but also from the design. And next is what I also really like is the number 18, which is kind of a bit under pressure now with Cosmo Marsh being behind. But the livery from Tony McGoffin is also pretty nice to see what they pulled together. And Wild Things Racing getting a bit wild in the back with Cosmo, and he's trying to push it on the inside, but yeah, could not actually get the nose in. But seeing that they have really fun with the Wild Things cars is also great to see, because they have pretty nice strategies sometimes, and also moves on the track. So I'm curious to see what kind of overtaking situations we can have here at Imola, which is kind of actually, surprising me that some are trying not really to just push forward in some corners. And it can be the case that if you really be close together what the lap times are, there is no chance to overtake, right? If you make your car as wide as you can and you have a clean line, then it's really hard to get in there in between the space which you sometimes don't have on the track.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point, because obviously if you overwork the car, it makes it very difficult, not just for you but for your co-driver towards the end of the stint. And I think there's a lot of life left in the tyres and in the drivers as well. But also noticing the 150 of Dennis Schoeninger for RHG Esports during that car, Von Hoefler, fastest first sector out of everyone, purple first sector. So there's a lot of pace in that car. I want to keep an eye on the number 12 of Harry Phillips for Grip Hacks Engineering, who is in the car just now, what that pace is going to be, because obviously with the pit stops it was a 2:03. Now it's a 42.6, so again that's about a second off of what Alou Gobi was doing. But Aurelian Cross here for Wild Things Racing in 89. You've got to feel sorry for Cosmo Marsh, who got absolutely mugged by Tony McCoffin and Aurelian Cross in very quick succession. And now Annelies Riot gets ahead in that AM class as well. But it's now ahead of that class is now the 139 Team Cake Angel Cake car of Rydian Lloyd-Davis right now. But for 32 and a half minutes left to go in the race, and I'm also looking at the silver class lead in the 77. GTWR RAG female racing number 2, Sophia Ronwin and Matt Muirhead currently leading that one, but there's not all that much space between them and their battle partners, the 66 sister team GTWR RAG female racing number 3 of the Amusante and Mark Lewis. Just what's that, about 2.5 seconds splitting them. We've got a 5-second penalty pop up for the silver team 90 of Team Racing Point women Robert Leska and Chiara Camerino, and that is for an incident on lap number 7 involving the 26 car of Sarah Moore, Wild Things Racing Epics.gg. It's a 5-second time penalty to car 90 for avoidable contact. So the 187 has had a issue with that. So Annalise Wright stays in the car, couldn't get that switch done. So that is that's a bit of an issue there being pointed out by Joshua Bicard. So thank you on YouTube chat for that one. Pointing that one out, but also Laura saying that the 205 Luna Nera of Alita Indriani having problems and not doing the switch either.
Yeah, I think that there will be some discussions around that because that mixes up everything. But yeah, I guess that our race control is heavily looking at that, how they can fix it, because the swapping, I think we had it already discussed before that some couldn't actually join the service. That's also really interesting if they then have no chance to get it back. But yeah, let's see what we have here on the track, where it's getting quite close between the 150 and the 66, which is and Dennis Schöninger versus Mark Lewis. So yeah, they have to really not quite fight hard for that, but also nice here to see the blue flags. Really nice overtaking situation, where we definitely can say that they have a good position on the track. But yeah, Mark Lewis has to really push it hard, because that will be actually the pushback from Yvonne Hufla, but they made it up quite. They recovered, let's say, to be honest, quite good from that. But yeah, it's not easy in the front row, and we have our split screen coming up to see where we have the closest gaps on track, and it's nice to see that we don't miss anything. But yeah, this is the next closest one, and still they always try to sneak out and just get out of the slipstream and saying, hi, I'm still here, but Mark Lewis is under pressure. That's for sure.
Certainly is. I'm just watching the times coming in just now. I'm going to say it right now. I think we're going to have an amazing finish to this race, because the gap between first and second place has been closing, and it closes even more as Andrea Capoccia now takes that gap to under 9 seconds. Remember, that gap was about 12 seconds as Lou Gobi tore into the rest of that field, but Andrea Capoccia undoing all that damage now takes that gap to 8.9 seconds. It's a purple sector 1 for the 177 GTWR RAG Academy car of Sarah Dove and Andrea Capoccia. So this is pretty interesting to see. Right, so Matt Lewis in the 66 has let Dennis Schöninger go to obviously stretch ahead. I think that's a clever move. Oh, and Yves Field takes Matt Muirhead. Goodness me, so Muirhead takes too much of the curb on the chicane, and Yves Field moves up. And if Schöninger can get ahead of Matt Muirhead, that means we have got a straight-up dogfight, Laura, for silver class and Matt Muirhead against Mark Lewis.
Yeah, but it's really nice to see, because that's what we actually want to have, especially before the last pit stop, that they get into, and we get a drive-through from Josie Austin, which is kind of a harsh thing to have. But let's see what this was causing it.
I'm hearing that's for putting beetroot in a cake.
Probably. You just jinxed it. No. Yeah, but avoidable contact. Okay, maybe that's what we can see later, what the problem here was, because that's quite of a harsh, situation they have to recover from. Hopefully they can, because they're also sitting close with the number 18 and the 89 car together, as we can definitely say, also down to the 23rd place. If you just go back into the pit lane, this will push you back to the end of the field. But yeah, let's see, with the 27 minutes, we have just halftime more or less, and look at these two in the front, Matt Muirhead, and yeah, they just push for the position, but now all the pro classes are all together, but this is really, really close between those two.
Yeah, here we go. This is a battle for silver then, and it's all on Mark Lewis right now, the 66 GTWR RAG Female Racing. Remember, these are sister cars. It's the number 2 versus the number 3 car right now. Number 2 is ahead, and number 3 is chasing quite hard, but I don't think that's going to make any difference right now. It's going to be amazing stuff. Personally, I've got to be honest, I'd love to see the 77 get a good shout on this, but then you've also got the 66, because you've got the Amazante behind the wheel of that Altea book, so this is going to be a fight and a half when these two get back behind the wheel here. But it does look like the number 66 is slightly stronger than that 77 that's ahead here, as the leader comes round to complete the 19th lap here, or sorry, start the 19th lap with about 26 and a half minutes left to go in the race. It's a 1:42.1 for Harry Phillips, and that gap has come down massively because Harry Phillips is in quite a bit of traffic right now, as Andrea Capoccia does a 1:41.2, takes 9/10 of a second off here, but I think he's going to run out of laps. I think it's going to be a Lou Gobi back in just 5 minutes time, which is going to be about 3 laps, and I don't think that's enough for Andrea Capoccia to close down that gap there, Laura. So if a Lou Gobi gets back in the car, it's surely going to be more of the same.
Yeah, exactly. And if we look at this kind of panicking face from Tia Book, she knows that she has to pull it as well, but this is nice to see that they in the team don't have like a kind of order, right? So if they just fight for their position, they are allowed to do that. So let's see what they come out of then from that. But yeah, nice to see that also Yves Field is back in the 3rd position, and Dennis Schöninger there together, now just being up again with Ivan Hufela with the 150 car back in 3rd place. So nice to see now that we have these overtaking maneuvers on the track being actually coming into play, which is good, and also that they have fun to do that. And yeah, this is great to see that at least we have the place number 4 under fight, we have the place number 5 and 6 under fight, and also when we look back, number 14 is quite close, and this is really good that we have so many cars around the track really in these kind of 2 packs together, and just trying to nail down positions.
Yeah, that's right. So as you mentioned there, Pro-Am and Silver all duking it out. The only battle not close on track is the Am battle, separated by about 5.8 seconds. But here we go, up the inside goes Richard Pixley, trying to take a position contact with Camariano, and that is into the gravel, and that is almost certainly going to be another penalty for the number 90 of Chiara Camariano and Richard Pixley. It's a bad day going from bad to worse for the number 7 car into the gravel. Lisa Louise Keane as teammate, and yeah, that is absolute heartbreak with 24 minutes left to go. It's going to be the number 18, I believe, just behind. In fact, the 18's already up and past, because I think that's Aurelian Cross. The 89 is very eager to make way there, but Richard Pixley is going to feel very hard done there, Laura, after that.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but actually they were really nice, and now they are back into 3rd place in their class, which is kind of frustrating, because they made it a clean lap, and then you have this kind of problems. But yeah, the race control, they will watch it, and there will definitely be a penalty, as you mentioned. But that was quite of a close one, a bit misjudged.
And that's the Am leader. Rudian Lloyd Davis goes off and has some severe problems there, and just joins ahead of the number 2 of Cosmo Marsh. So surely that's going to be a change for Am.
Yeah, but it's good that they have at least now fightings all over the track. But yeah, now the tires are gone, so that's why he just gets off again. And oof, that was also quite hard here to just not crash into him. But yeah, Ridila Davis now just being overtaken. Maybe at least has to clear up and clean the tires and to cool them down a bit to just not lose some situations. And still, those two are having fun as well on track. So the number 66 is Mark Lewis is still with Muirhead together, following each other around the track. But yeah, I guess if the team captain is happy with that, they just maybe push each other forward to close the gap to the others, or they just have fun to see who is better on track and drives a different racing line.
Yes, you're not really going to want to take your teammate out, are you? That's going to be a very, very awkward post-race debrief for the GTWR team if that was to happen, but it's not looking likely. Matt Muirhead ahead of Mark Lewis. The 77 leads the 66 for the silver class just now. It's still Harry Phillips ahead of Andrea Capoccia. Dennis Schoeninger in third, and Eavesfield in the number 3 Intruder Racing team in 4th position. 22 minutes left to go in race number 3 of season 4 of More Female Racers. Is David Christie and Laura Luff taking you through all of the action here out of Tosa for the 21st time of asking we ride on board with Mark Lewis then in that 66 machine. We have done for several corners now, and again you get the impression here that Mark Lewis just waiting patiently behind Matt Muirhead. As you said, Laura, just really want to see where Matt is weak, where the opportunities could be had, but not going to be taking a chance unless it's absolutely obvious. Oh my goodness me, that's a little bit too close for comfort there.
Yeah, so let's wait and see what happens there. But these two definitely have at least some different racing lines, because they try to now see where they can come out of the slipstream and just trying to close another or race another line there here, where we also have now Cosmo Marsh losing some places further down the field, just being dropped now to the 23rd place. But here we see them racing side by side. And also just, yeah, Mark Lewis is actually now just trying to pull away and sneaking around that. So they're going side by side. Well, let's see what happens here. But yeah, they just won't not crash into each other, as you mentioned. Team captain will not be so happy with that. But oh, we see then here Hot and Spice just going a bit wide and also having a drift through the gravel. But at least no positions lost on that side, or at least just not heavy situations and accidents on track. But here, yeah, we can definitely say that Mark Lewis can be faster than his colleague in the front. Let's see how long this will take until they make the undercut or overcut. Let's see how that goes. But Cosmo Marsh now is in the pit, so we have some pit stops coming in, also with Josie Austin and Bowler in the last places down the grid, changing their last driver stints and swaps, where we have those two just really making here a nice show around Imola.
I'm not feeling too good about this, Laura. I've got a horrible feeling in my gut for GTWR RHG Female Racing. It's a brilliant performance so far, but you do get the impression that certainly Mark Lewis starting to get a little bit impatient, starting to want to get ahead of Matt Muirhead right now. But we do have pit stops in just now. The number 90 Team Racing Point women of Chiara Camariano is into the pits. That's going to be handing things back to Roberta Leska for the final stint of this race. Great exit through Ravazza for Mark Lewis here in the number 66, but again just trying to get onto the toe. Pulls into pit lane, possibly the wise thing to do. Dennis Schoeninger in the 150 RHG Esports machine into the pits as well to hand things back to Yvonne Hufelar for that final stint as well. And 20 minutes left to go. Now we're going to start to see where things are going to actually lie here, Laura.
And this is great that we have not actually all the positions laid out already before the last driver swap, where we have another kind of cutoff in the number 11th car, which is Kalkar in the back, getting a bit wide into the gravel. But yeah, it can happen if also then the last pressures a bit, at least the last material from your tires are gone in that sense. But yeah, it should be not the case actually for 20 minutes or 23 minutes, so to say. But yeah, we see Errol Verrett just trying to push again forward, but being still under pressure from the colleagues behind, where we just jump back to the number 89, which is Aurelian Cross, being followed by or just being pushed. He now is just going to pit lane, so that's not a problem at all. They just also come behind him directly in the pits, which is also Ridian Lloyd Davis, and also we have Denise Pope in the pits, which is actually, she's quite back in the 14th place, but hopefully that will evolve throughout the race. But Imola might not be the beloved track here for those this pair, but where we also see the first two leaders, which is number 12 and 177, also now in the pit lane, and still Eve is out on track.
Yep, so 17 and a half minutes left to go. It's still Harry Phillips from Andrea Capoccia from Eve's Field 1, 2, 3 just now, but the teams all swapping over to the final drivers. Alu Gobi is going to be back behind the wheel of that number 12, as is the 177 of Sarah Dove, and then the number 3 is going to be Mia Svensson. So that, from what we should see, is going to be how they come out of pit lane. Harry Phillips is out of the pit lane and swapped over to Alu Gobi, as is the 177 of Sarah Dove just now. So 17 minutes left to go. We'll let the drivers all fill through for their final pit stops. This is Tony McCaughan trying to hunt down what would appear to be Yvonne Hoefler in that 150, then straight out of the pits. So Yvonne looks like it's possibly going to be a position lost. Getting back to grips with the car, Tony McCaughan takes the outside line down into Ravazza, then 16 and a half minutes left to go, and that was a fairly straightforward drive. And again, I'm going to say this, I've said this all race, Laura, this has been one of the exemplary races for more female racers in terms of driving standards, in terms of really showcasing what these teams can do.
Definitely, so that's the best one we have seen so far, and this is a good good outlook for the rest of the season, with the last 3 races still outstanding. But I don't know where it comes from, but it was really a complete swap from the last race, so that's good to see that they maybe had a team discussion going onwards in the entire chats and channels, and trying to help each other more to get the strategy right, and also maybe just training on Imola, where we have a bit of a pile up here of cars in front of us, but it's good to see that some come out of the pit lane and having to directly fight with some others, and this is what it's supposed to be. Now getting really interesting for the female races, but I actually didn't want to say it, but I saw it coming, that Tony McCaughan had a problem here, just trying to steer into the corner, but there was actually no gap, and now they touched each other again. I mean, he's not happy with that, but luckily they didn't lost the position here, but drift mode was on on that side, but they just fight for good positions. So, and also the other ones, like with Oskar Sandberg actually now leading the race, but actually had already then to driver swap. It is quite funny to see that now, after the second stint of driver changes, they actually find each other on track with others, which they haven't seen so far. So now again, the number 18 car has to go around the outside.
Yeah, McCaughan just fires it into Ravazza there, but more importantly, that now changes things, because looking at the lead group there, that hands the silver class 3rd place from now I believe that should have been Mia Svensson. That should have been Mia Svensson that was in 3rd place in that silver class. In that pro class, and they've lost it now to Yvonne Hoefler because of that incident with Tony McCaughan. So be very interested to see if there's anything that comes from race control because of that. But again, crucially, that is big points that is going to be lost from this race. 14 minutes left to go, and just watching the tail end of this, as most of the cars have now completed their final pit stop. It's still Alu Gobi out front and in charge of this race by what appears to be an absolute meteoric amount of time. 10 seconds over Sarah Dove right now, and that gap is only going to go up and up and up. Sophie Ronwin in that 3rd position then, and this has been an awesome race. 4th place for Mia Svensson, and just watching the pit stops as they all come through, I've got to be honest, Laura, I mean, Alu Gobi we always worried about this, didn't we? If Alou had that start and went off from it, then it was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely the case, because there is actually no point in time where Sarah Fair is just going a bit wide here on the 139 car, losing some positions. This is why she just popped back to third place now in the M category. But yeah, this is where we can definitely say Lugobi, she's just like boom in the wind. But so funny always when we have her in the interview that she's like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to do new things and it's hard to learn, but I just manage. So that's really, really nice to see that she's so relaxed right now, right? So to just get her head down and just really, really trying to make it happen. And yeah, great to see that we also still have fights across the track and across the field. This makes it interesting for all the drivers, so that you have at least someone you can fight with, because that's what you want, right? Not driving alone in the front, but maybe some actually want to be the hunter. So that's why it's good to have at least also Celine Witcher now, where we just jump back into the 101 car, just chasing down Van der Naald.
Yeah, here we go then. Esmeralda van der Naald just ahead in the number 15, up there in Emerald Racing MFR4. Celine Witcher in the 101 Turn 1 Magnum machine, taking back over that car from Oscar Sandberg, who did a cracking job getting that car back into contention. Got a penalty there, lap 24, that was an incident between cars 18 and 188. That is a 5-second penalty to the 188 car for avoidable contact. That's Team Riot Spice Cakes, Annalise Riot, that gets that penalty for that there. So 5-second penalty to the 188 machine just now. Celine Witcher though still trying to catch up onto Esmeralda van der Naald. That doesn't seem to be happening just yet, but we've still got several corners left to go in this lap just now. Good run through that long right hander. It's such a difficult one to get right at Aqua Minerale there on the run down towards Variante Alta, a corner that I really never ever get right in any way whatsoever. But if anything, it does look like Esmeralda van der Naald slightly stretching that gap. And now that Yvonne Hoefler and Mia Svensson are unleashed together on track, I wonder, Laura, do you think Mia in that number 3 Pro car is going to be able to take that position back, especially when she's just taken 4/10 out?
I know that Yvonne is quite really strong in her driving and precise in timing. So if you make no mistake, then unfortunately she had one. But if she's just keeping her head down, it can be tricky. But Mia Svensson is always fighting for positions. So I think she will go for it. But it is always the same thing. So if because I know that Yvonne is quite also strong in defending, that's kind of a tricky part, because I mean still we have 10 minutes left, so why not? There is always like room for some movements on the track. What we also have seen, as the gaps are so close with all the other cars around, there can be tiny little mistakes. Somebody is just going wide and comes back on track, and then you can't be doing anything. So yeah, let's see what Red Alaska is doing now here on the 17th place. Also really strong drive here from her. And just jump back to Maria Kryshkova on the 10th place with the number 14 car. Also a nice livery, I have to say. But being chased down by Sarah Moore. She's always doing double jobs, being a full-time racer, and also then luckily she's coming back here to just drive with the ladies. It's really nice to see that they both bring both worlds together. And yeah, let's see what Wild Things are doing here, trying to overtake Maria. 9 minutes to go. Sarah Moore, just keep it cracking.
Doing an absolutely brilliant job. Of course, Sarah Moore, resplendent performance in the W Series supporting the Formula One on the race weekends, and I know very much enjoyed the season. Got a chance to speak to her through the pre-season interviews that we did. We did that last week, I believe, but 9 minutes 10 left to go, and Sarah did a cracking job here trying to catch on to this 10th position of Maria Krychkova. But again, catching is one thing, it's quite a different thing getting past. However, my eyes are immediately drawn to that battle for third place, because of Yvonne Hoefler coming under increasing pressure now from Mia Svensson. The number 3 is now just 0.6 of a second. The Intruder Racing team try to take that final place on the podium. Right now you can see it just behind there, Laura. 8 minutes 40 left to go, and that is intimidation at its finest.
Yeah, there must be happening something because it was just 1 second, which has been lost in one round. So, but now, also that could be the traffic. There was like a close fight between that because Lewis Keen and Swenson, and now we're just trying to check what's gonna happen there. But that's the thing, if you just have to navigate through traffic, which can actually then hold you back at least 1 second. And now we just see that this worked quite well. But yeah, that could also be the point. Now you see that the gap is again 1.87. This is really stressing, right? Because you actually want to get quick through that, but then you always have this problem that if somebody is just not paying attention to the blue flags, then you just go nuts.
That is a very, very good point indeed. Just watching behind Mia Svensson as the pop-up tells us to remind you that you can get yourself 10% off the fabulous range of sim racing gloves over at simhound.com if you use the code MFR10. That's MFR10, and you'll get yourself a cracking little discount on the quality sim racing gloves that they've got over on simhound.com. So a huge thank you to them for supporting more female racers. Meanwhile, Mia Svensson then trying her best to catch up, keeping that car behind of Sophie Aronwin. So it's a case of, Laura, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because Yvonne Hoofler losing that time there, but potentially trying not to lose contact again. And that's 18th. That's Eva de Andrade in the 29 that causes contact there. And that hands the position surely to Sophie Aronwin.
Well, as we say, normally you can't actually predict that 10 minutes should be enough, but now we have this kind of, battle for many positions up in P10, so where we can definitely see that there are some swaps in positions. And also when we jump back to Cosmo, he is still in the lead for the AM category. But yeah, that's great to see that also we have so many drivers then trying to do that. But Mia Svensson just dropped back, but Cosmo is pretty actually doing a good job here in his in the first round. He has already raced the last seasons, but actually being here alone, being here alone in the car, which we sometimes also have seen that some females trying to be alone, that is just really, really good.
Yeah, really. I mean, the fact that Cosmo Marsh has done a triple stint, even 3 stints in the car for her, is an amazing testament to see how well she's taken to that car there. But back with Sarah Moore, still hustling. Maria Krutskova still trying desperately to get that car past. This is going to be now or never really for the number 26 car, trying to get past that 14 car just now. And I'm still watching this battle developing. Sophia Rodwood, I mean, the fact that she's got that 4th position is absolutely fantastic, as Celine Witcher goes side by side with Esmeralda van der Nald. And that is, in fact, Esmeralda's just up in front. That was, now who was that behind? I think that was a lap. Yeah, that was Sarah first, so that was a lapped car getting put down there in 22nd place there. I was getting a little bit overexcited there, Laura, but just the one car out in front, and that is the 15 of Esmeralda van der Nald.
Yeah, definitely pretty nice. And let's see what Sarah Moore is just still be able to do, because she is then into the 11th position, just still chasing down the number 10th car, but or at least the 10th position. But yeah, great to see that we have these tiny little battles across the field with 2 or 3 people being involved, and good to see that also. So don't give up. That's the most important thing, right? If you just have a spin, or if you've been pushed out, you just always try to really close the gap and try to fight until the last final meters of the course, because that's what you normally don't want to give up. And there we also already see again the hot and spicy cars still being under pressure. Again, Beata Poczenska, also from Eva de Andrade, being now in the 18th place, just came up also from a good position. And they still have, look at this pack. I mean, they are 8 cars behind and really close together, which is really nice. But let's see what Sarah Moore is doing. She's trying to do the overtaking.
Yep, she is. She's going side by side. This is down into the chicane. Variante Alta can't get it done. That Maria Krutskova, though, I mean, that Ferrari in front just looks like it absolutely explodes out of the corner there. But look at Sarah Moore trying to get the hustle down. This is in towards her. Vatsa. Is it going to be battle of the late breakers? It's not. Is she trying to force Maria into making a mistake? No, it looks like it's Sarah that actually runs a little bit wide on the exit of the corner there. And Maria gets to fight and live the tale another day. Going back to the battle there for 16th position. I've got to be honest, I'm really impressed with the performance from Beata Bohenska in this round. It's been a brilliant performance for the 997 hot and spicy machine. Sharing that car, of course, with Errol Verwey. But, of course... Oh, now, there you go. That is... I'm stunned. Maria Krutskova. I could hear the production team in shock as that just completely dropped it by themselves, Laura. So all that pressure from Sarah Moore obviously pays off. Back with 2 minutes left to go, 2 minutes 50 in this final section of the race then. Race number 3 in season 4 of More Female Racers here on the SimGrid. As always, if you like what you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you can keep up to date on all the amazing effort that we do here and all the amazing races as well. But out in front, just to recap then, Alu Gobi takes up where she left off, absolutely dominating over Saradov and the rest of the field. We've got another penalty, cars 90 and 997, that's Team Racing Point women of Roberta Leska and Chiara Camarini, and the 9 and 7 of that was Errol Verwey that we saw with a collision there. It's a 15-second time penalty for that number 90 car. It was a big hit on the 997, and that will hopefully reverse those positions. We'll check with the timing here. But Laura, 2 minutes left to go in the race, and this again, I'm going to say it quite firmly now, this has been the best race that we've seen from More Female Racers.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy and lucky that my internet is back again. So that's normally the problem which
Welcome
the
back.
have. But yeah, it's crazy like that. But yeah, it happens also to me. But well, let's see what Munich has to offer with.
I thought I was just getting the silent treatment.
No, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm just being somewhere else around the globe now, just trying to be here on the SimGrid, which is actually so nice to have this, and actually I'm so happy that we have this great race now pulled together. Ooh, with the last minute kind of lucky catch from the number 14 car, which is Maria then, but yeah, good to see that she just managed to hold it back. But yeah, actually great to see. And also that we have another situation with Cosmo, but this is now live again, where we just on the second position with the M class, and Ellie's right, just being now in the M category, being in the lead. But actually, yeah, it's been amazing to see that they have such fun out on track, and it's great to see what kind of great experiences they have made from the last race, and now the atmosphere and also the I'm lost for words today. My head is actually frozen, but yeah, it's great to see how they improved from the last one. But we're just trying to check what Ali Gobi is doing on the last seconds. Leading, of course. What else?
Yeah, this is it. This is going to be the rundown then to the final corners then into Ravazza for the final couple of times, because they're not going to get the lap done in 8 seconds. So Laura, we'll make this brief. I'll let you take it out the final corner then for Gripax Engineering and Ali Gobi.
Really amazing and brilliant drive from this pair, which we definitely have to put on our list of great drivers out on track. Alu Gobi and Harry Phillips, they just made a perfect pair together, and brilliant drive, no mistakes, and we just go back down to Saradov now being in the second position in the pro category together with Andrea Capoccia in the number 177, now finishing on the line. It's really great to see. And also Ivan Hufla actually managed to be on the third place. Great recovery, but also it was kind of a problem with Mia Svensson now being back in fifth. But Yvonne Hufler, great catch from her together with Dennis Schöninger today. just closing shortly then on the finishing line. So this is really nice to see that they had also the fun out there in Imola. And also when we look at Sophia Onren, great and brilliant drive on the silver category, being so close together here in the front rows. And also now we come back with Mia Svensson along the grid, and this was also pretty close. And just let's check what we have there. What happened in the Pro-Am.
I was going to say, Laura, what's happened at the back? Now, the number 12 has stopped it at Rovazza from what I can see here. In fact, it's the other way through. And why is Cosmo Marsh facing the wrong way? Are they celebrating? Or that's just the start of the so that's after they finished the race there. So it's all just this last sort of minute has all gone a bit funny. Lisa Louise Keane is now taking seconds in Pro-Am. I also noticed at the end there that Mia Svensson got a 10-second penalty, which drops her back from 5th place to, I believe, to 7th position. Wow, that is unbelievable finish to the race there, Laura. That is, wow. I don't even know where to look there.
Yeah, but it's pretty nice that we have seen so many great drives on track, and they have fun definitely when they do the donuts on the track, which is really nice, where we're trying to catch everybody on the spot. And this is great that really we had seen so many nice, friendly maneuvers and overtakes throughout the race, and this is what we definitely want to see more of, please, as we come to the next race, which is then actually Silverstone, and then we go to Zolder, where I guess probably it will not be that easy and that funny, but definitely when we look at the quality of this race, everybody kudos, definitely what we have to say, applause to everyone. Really nice to see that they have improved and also had the fun out on track. And David, I can definitely only echo that we want to see everybody just trying to evolve throughout the seasons. And if you want to be new joining, that's not a problem, because you just always find a teammate who can help you through that, navigating, actually finding the right spot on track.
Yeah, for sure. Right, let's get into the interviews then, and I think we'll speak to the Realish Racing driver. Very, very heavy shoulders for Cosmo Marsh, leading the way in the AM Championship. Just now, we'll bring Cosmo in and have a chat. Cosmo, a very, very good evening. That must have been some stint doing that entire hour by yourself there.
Oh, well, hello again, David. Hello, Laura, as well. Great to have you doing the broadcast as usual. Great job today. And, oh, God, that was a tiring one. That really was. That was intense all the way through from qualifying. I just thought, hang on, I might have a chance here. And then I just really went for it, throughout the entire race. And I knew I had a chance, really, as soon as I got into the lead after the, halfway through. And then obviously with Anna getting through after the pit stop, I thought I'd thrown it away, and then she got the penalty, and I thought just stay within 5 seconds. Then there was that unfortunate incident on the last lap as well, which I managed to avoid, so I just pretty much guaranteed it. But I wasn't expecting that. I genuinely wasn't expecting that. I mean, I thought I was going to get close, but I didn't think second start of the season for me I'd already be winning an AM, so...
Well, I have to ask, Cosmo, is there anything left of the suspension on that car? Because you hit the curb so many times when we were watching.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a new suspension kit ordered for the next race. Yeah, it's going to have to send that one back to Ferrari for a rebuild. But no, I had the setup. I like to use the curves quite a bit. I like to, I know GTD cars can be quite sensitive on that front, so I like to run a setup that's a bit more forgiving. And I've got the Ferrari to a point where I can just eat the curbs for lunch and then go back for seconds. But yeah, I do use the curbs quite a bit, and obviously having softer suspension helps there, doing some stuff with the suspension. But yeah, I think that one's definitely going to have to go back for a full strip and rebuild.
Well, here's hoping that you get an excellent performance next time out. Well done, Cosmo, and we'll speak to you in the next round.
Thank you, and great job on the broadcast as always.
Loving the energy from Cosmo tonight. That's really sort of perked me up there. Right, let's go and have a chat then to Hedda Rangseter and to Truls as well. Truls Solberg, who is waiting to have a chat. Hedda and Truls, congratulations taking the honours in the Pro-Am class tonight. You two had to fight for that tonight though.
Yeah, thank you. I did a really bad qualifying, or I invalidated the next lap, which was 7/10 up and stuff, so we had to do it in the race, and it was really fun climbing up, and yeah, did a very good last stint as well, so we managed to hold them back.
And Truls, for yourself, obviously taking over halfway through the race there, Hedda did a great job of putting you in a good position.
Yeah, she did. Unfortunately, I had an angry curb taking me out, which is my mistake. But I got that position back, so no harm, no foul, I think.
Did you manage to kick the curb after you did it?
No, I think I have to go out on track to see if I can have a talk with it after the race.
And Hedda, just coming back to that finish, I mean, how tough were those final 20 minutes?
The whole race, I mean, wasn't very intense. I feel like my first stint was more intense actually, because I had to overtake and drive as fast as I could to overtake and then try to make that gap before Truls went out. So that was the most intense one. It was intense, but really, really fun.
Well, it was really enjoyable for us to watch in the commentary box. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you at the next round.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, apologies, we're having to speed through these because we've got so many interviews to get going. Let's have a chat then with more from the AM class. This is going to be Sarah and Rydian. So we'll bring Sarah Fair in, and we will bring Rydian Lloyd Davis in as well. Hello, Sarah and Rydian. P2 in AM. That was quite a busy one tonight.
Oh. You're telling me.
Oh my god, yeah.
There were... Go on, Sarah, you go first.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know how much of the first stint you caught, but I don't think I've dodged that many cars in my life. I was on the edge of my seat the whole stint. It was probably the most exciting stint I've ever had, and only a community and a race like the MFR can give that to me, so, that was amazing.
Awesome stuff. And then Rydian, you took over for the second half. I don't think you had the same luck as Sarah because you had quite a few cars with a target on your back.
Unfortunately so. It was very difficult, although my consistency wasn't exactly great either. But yeah, I think I got caught in the midst of it and was just trying to scrap together something for Sarah to recover. Honestly, I'm so proud of Sarah's driving in the first stint. It was masterful. How she avoided everything, I don't know. I still don't know.
Obviously, some good championship points. I think you still secure that second place going into the halfway point. Are you looking forward to the next race?
Yes, it will be. I am quite looking forward to it. The Silverstone is the next one. Yes, I'm quite looking forward to that. Hopefully the Ferrari behaves itself around there.
We've actually got a bit of an interesting setup going into the next race because I will be on a plane to South Africa the night the race is taking place. So we have a substitute driver in taking my spot, but it's another representative of Team Cake, and she's driven us before, so she'll be waving the cake flag high.
I'm sure you could get the wheel on the fold down lap table and
Yeah.
20,000 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure it will be totally fine. It's just about getting it through security. I don't want to be asked any strange questions when I bring up.
You're a pro sim racer now. You just tell them that. Anyway, Sarah Fair and Rydian Lloyd Davis, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Sorry it says speedy interviews, but we'll catch up with you next round.
No problem.
Yeah,
thanks very much.
Thank you very much for the broadcast, and good luck, and thank you to all the drivers for the fantastic race tonight.
Awesome stuff there. So there we go. That is second place in AM. Let's go and have a chat now to our race winner, Lou Goby and Harry Phillips. They're in as well. Wow. Alu, Gobi and Harry Phillips, that was a sensational race. Alu, where the heck did you get the rockets for that car?
Department store aisle 7. No, this is all hard work, and it's a lot of experience coming into this race, and of course a lot of practice with Harry.
And Harry, she was really giving it what for, and obviously you had the unfair fight with Andrea Capoccia, but an awesome race nonetheless.
Yeah, Alu's pace was absolutely insane tonight, and yeah, my stint was just all about maintenance, and just about pulled it off, and the gap was so large, courtesy of Alu, that I didn't really have to do too much, to be honest.
And obviously, when Alu hands you that amount of a lead, does it put extra pressure on you, Harry? Thinking, hang on a minute, I've got to keep this.
The only pressure I really had was just to make sure I don't get any track cuts, because at that point, the only thing that would really ruin Alu's race there would be me just coming off track or getting a drive-through or potentially getting 3 track warnings and then having Alu's pace cut down with nerves. But no, that was pretty smooth driving.
Well, a brilliant result, guys. You kept us entertained up here in the commentary box, and 3 out of 3. It's looking good for Silverstone, so we look forward to seeing you guys next time out.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Laura.
Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
All right, again, apologies for the super speedy interviews just now, but we've got so many people to chat with, and finally we've got out there in silver class. It was a fantastic effort for Altea Book and Mark Lewis taking second place in that class in the 66 car. Let's have a chat with them just now. Altea and Mark, that was one heck of a race, and I don't think you could have been any closer to Sophie and to Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I let Mark comment on that, because I was just like hiding my eyes the whole time. It was tense.
Yeah, it was good racing. I didn't want to go for anything crazy and risk crashing like one of us or both of us, so I just thought I'd sit nice and close and hope he dropped a wheel on the sand, which he never did, but I'm sure it made for good entertainment to watch.
And Altea, you weren't joking when you said about you were watching behind your eyes, because our fantastic production team were able to switch to your live stream while Mark's stint was on, and yeah, it was some interesting reactions there. How nervous were you?
Yeah, my heart was racing. I actually screamed at one point and got him more scared about my scream than actually what was happening in the race for him. So it was really intense. I really enjoyed watching battles. I think even more than actually real life racing. It was crazy. I really enjoyed it.
And obviously going into Silverstone, some good points for the team. I think that now puts you up into P3, I think it is, or P2 in the championship, taking over Turn 1 Grazie Kimi. But obviously a couple of rounds left to go. Are you looking forward to Silverstone next time out?
Yeah. Silverstone is one of my favorite tracks. I actually have a necklace that I normally wear around my neck. So I really love that track. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I like Silverstone as well. I've not driven it much in the Ferrari, but I'm sure it'll be good there. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can get another podium in class, maybe even podium overall.
That's fight and talk. So tied on points is what I'm hearing with that Turn 1 Grazie Kimi team. So looking forward to next race at Silverstone. Thank you for providing us so much entertainment tonight, and here's hoping you can get one over the number 77 next time around.
Fingers
Thank
crossed.
you for having us. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, there we go. Laura, wow. That was an amazing night, and yeah, a lot of action.
Definitely. Thanks so much for taking over the great interviews. It was great to see that they had so much fun and also were kind of nail biting throughout the race. Yeah, it was great to see, great to watch. It was amazing that we have such a great community also behind all the drivers. I can definitely say thanks for you, David, and also the production team to pull this together. I was really actually more the commentator watching the race, because I was so fascinated how they managed through the traffic. And definitely, if some are really in favor of Silverstone, I'm pretty sure that this will also be a clean race. Let's predict that.
Yep, that is what we're looking for. You can join us again at the end of the month in just 2 weeks' time on the 22nd of November for more female racers. Same time at Silverstone. Check us out though on the simgrid.com at the calendar. You can check out all the amazing events that we've got coming up. Being the consummate professional I am, having a look at the calendar, I can't help but laugh that there's an event on Sunday called You Will Not Have the Drink. That just makes me laugh for some reason. But anyway, thank you to our wonderful commercial partners here at the SimGrid, to Coach Dave Academy, to Thrustmaster, and to our fantastic new partners on board as well, offering those wonderful, wonderful gloves. So that is us. Thank you to Laura Luft as well. I've been David Christie. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone. More action and more chaos at more female racers. Until then, take care. Have a nice night.